What it do? What it do? You know. Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
It's Kool-Aid, the nigga that sipped the Kool-Aid. That LaFraud, single barrel and goose. Got the coat going up on a Tuesday. Roast the false prophet like a gourmet souffle. Cause me no say spirit gun like you skate. Nigga might run up in that black face like Gucci. Boycott a cracker, kill your favorite rapper. Cause I run with G's like a Green Bay Packer. I chop a Christian like a new machete. When you polygamous, they look at you like R. Kelly. Still these women wanna do me like I'm Akinelli. West Coast sisters love me like a Machiavelli. Make these crackers lick the dust off my boots. We want no cowards in our camp and we ain't taking recruits. My crew the livest, y'all suckers is the jobbers. Niggas run their lips but they damn sure wouldn't try us. Nah, I ain't the same cat who used to break laws. They just rather see me as the same cause. Some rather remain lost. My brain washed with these stained thoughts. I be repping for my niggas riding for the same cause. Cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, then I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Better ask somebody, bitch.
Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
All right, Shalom Israel. Y'all Bashim Yashai Bracket Thumb. Y'all Shamala Thumb Bashim Yashai. I'm Priest Officer Parak. To my right is Priest Officer Razan holding down the Feast of Purim for the ISUPK out of Arizona. All right. The very bottom of the screen, you can see our class location. We have classes every Tuesday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. And then, of course, every Saturday we have our Sabbath services from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All right. So I'm not going to waste too much time. All right. I'm not going to waste too much time. Of course, we understand the Feast of Purim is a day of memorial, right? It's not a high holy day, but it is a holy day ordained by the priests of God. And we're going to find out why. We're going to find out what's so important about this day. Well, these 2 days specifically, right? Specifically on the Hebrew calendar, the month of Adar, for the 14th and 15th days are to be celebrated for generations to come. And that, of course, is in Esther, the 9th chapter. We're going to read all 10 chapters, Lord willing. We're going to read all 10 chapters tonight. And, of course, when we close out tomorrow, I like to go over the additions to Esther as well, all right? Let's go ahead and get into it, though. You start at the book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1.
Come on. The book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Asharius.
You can say Ahasuerus.
Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia over 170. It's like over 107 and 20 provinces.
Right. So now you got to understand something about this cat Ahasuerus. He was a king that he ruled a great part of the inhabited world. Right. This guy had a whole lot of power. Right. Keep going.
Verse 2. That in those days, when King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, and the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him.
So just so everybody can understand this, right? This is important to be able to understand the book of Esther and everything we're about to go over, right? Ahasuerus was a king over the Persians and the Medes, or within the Persian Empire, is what I should say, right? And of course, we understand that the children of Israel were captives under this specific empire, right? So that's important to understand as we move forward, right? Go ahead. And then whenever you want to chime in, you got it.
Verse 3. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants. It's like, are you ready? It's like verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
Right. So he showed them. So he was about flaunting his, he wanted to flaunt his stuff off. Right. Now we're gonna see. Right. We're gonna skip down to verse 10 just to kind of get to the point. Right. We're gonna see something important that sets the stage for this entire book is going to happen here. Start at verse 10.
Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Habana, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Aharius the king, to bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
So what this cat did, right? He said he sent his seven chamberlains, right, and told them, "Go and get my wife," right? Go and get. It's like that was you. Yeah, I didn't know where it was coming from, right? Go and get my wife Vashti or whatever, however you want to pronounce. She's a heathen. I don't care how you pronounce her name, right? Go and get my wife Vashti or Vashti, right? And bring her out here so I can show her off in front of everybody. She was the Persian queen. And so, of course, to them, this woman probably looked extremely beautiful. And he wanted to show her off in front of everybody. But keep going.
Verse 12. But the queen, Vashti, refused to come at the king's commandment.
Nah, so listen, she said, hell no. I'm not coming. I ain't got to do what you say. That's what the woman said. She said, I ain't got to do what you say. I'm not coming, right? Keep going.
By the king's commandment, by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
So now, like, this is like, imagine, like, we not like these heathens, but you can even take it to this smaller extent and just, you ask your woman to come here, right? You tell her, hey, come here real quick. Imagine she's just saying, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's that. So you're going to be kind of, no, what do you mean, no? You know what I'm saying?
It's like you're a king and you want to control a whole nation.
Right. Can he control your woman? God damn. And so now he was the main part of this was that he was embarrassed. That's what it was. The main thing was that he was embarrassed because in the sight of everybody, in the sight of his 7 chamberlains and everybody, he said, listen, tell my wife, because he's the king. He can command these things. Tell my wife, man, listen, come out here so I can show her off. And then the chamberlains come back like, sir, she said no. No. Nobody disobeys me. I'm the goddamn king. Well, let's find out what came of this, right? Keep going.
Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for it was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment.
Mm-hmm. You can skip down to verse 15.
Verse 15. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Aharius by the chamberlains.
So now the chamberlains came up to him and said, now what are we going to do about this woman? Because, and it says according to law, because it was unlawful in this Persian kingdom to disobey the commandments of the king. If the king tells you to do something, you must do it. It's that simple. And if you don't do it, what happens? You can put to death in most situations. Yeah. So now they're asking, according to the law, what should we do? Keep going.
Verse 16. And Memucan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to the princess and to all people that are in the provinces of King Aharius.
So now this cat is smart. He's a smart guy, right? Because this guy Memucan or whatever, Memucan, however you want to pronounce his name, he answered before the kings and the princess. Vashti the queen had not done wrong only to the king. She didn't just wrong the king. It says, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. So what this woman did, was a disservice not only to the king, but to everybody, to every man. Why? Keep reading.
Come, verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
So now, what this woman has done, all the women are going to hear about it. They're all going to hear that this woman, the queen, disobeyed the king. They're all going to hear that. Keep going.
Come. So they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported.
So if the queen can get away with it, if the queen can get away with disobeying her husband, then who the hell am I? If the queen could do it, then who the hell am I not to disobey my husband? That's how women are going. If the queen can get away with it, that's a, you know. And matter of fact, if you look at, you ain't got to look at it like that. Don't even look at it about the queen. The king. If the king allows his woman to disobey him, then what the hell does my peasant of a husband look like? You know, orders from him, him telling me what to do. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's coming. Like, you want to say something?
If I can, like, you ain't gotta look far. Just you can look like what they were afraid of. You see happening today.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Where you see on social media ads where these women will say, men will say, "Oh, you're not going like that, dressed like that with me."
Right.
Women will say, "Well, you don't control me. I do what I want." That's what they were afraid of happening.
Right.
Like now you can't tell anyone what to do.
Right.
No, she's her own woman. Like you don't control her. That's her body, not yours. She'll go however she wants to look. And if you just let that be, now you look like a fool to everybody else.
Right. Exactly. And that's heavy as hell, because you're right. That is exactly what happens to our people today. Like our women today are absolutely, bewitched by American society, because American society is the same thing. American society tells you that, a woman is independent. She can do whatever she want to do. What does a man look like telling it? If a man, that's called toxic masculinity here in America. If a man tells his woman what to do at all, how to dress, are you kidding me? If a man tells his woman how to dress, that's it. That is it. She can go to divorce court, and the divorce court is going to rule in her favor because he told you how to dress. Oh hell no, he can't do that. I don't want you showing your breasts and your behind every goddamn where, but I'm wrong for it. I told you to come here. Matter of fact, I just told you, like in this situation, I just told you to come here, and you're not gonna listen to me. Why though? Why is she not gonna listen to you? Because I don't serve no man.
And if I can also, what this queen Vashti, what she just showed, not only was disrespect towards her husband, the king, but it also just showed her selfishness.
Right.
That's what a lot of women deal with today. Is like they don't imagine how selfish they're being when their husband say, hey, "I don't want everybody seeing you like that."
Right.
I'm saying that's for me at home.
Right.
But they're so fixed on themselves. Mm-hmm. This makes me look good. This makes me happy to go out and look and have everybody see my ass and breasts.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of the spirit behind. But really, the reason why this is so important is because it really sets the stage for a bad broad to come into the picture. For a woman that's going to absolutely be a game changer in this entire story, in our history. Esther's going to come in after this. So Vashti had to get the hell out of there. That was by design that she disobeyed her husband. And that just should go to show you. That should go to show, because we're going to find out. Esther obeyed her husband, even though her husband was a heathen and the king of another nation that wanted to oppress her people. But she obeyed her husband. But she was so goddamn smart and so feminine that she obeyed him and still got what she wanted. Now, this is a heathen custom. Vashti was a heathen. That's a heathen custom to disobey your husband. We're going to find out as we read on. It's an Israelite custom to obey your husband and to still get what you want. You going to say something?
Not only that, but you show, like, the thing, too, like, where it started off with her beauty. You know what I'm saying? But all that was thrown out the way. As soon as her attitude changed.
Right. Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy.
That's really where the value comes in a woman, is her disobedience, her obedience,
right?
Her submitting to your orders,
right?
Her submitting to your favor. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Rather than her own. You know what I'm saying? Rather
Right.
than being selfish and only thinking about herself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I mean, look at how, you know, if and these men were wise. It's like, what? We can't allow that to happen because I got women back home,
Right.
and you above me. So if you allow this to happen, and not only that, they say it's gonna be carried out. You know, it's gonna be reported.
Right.
So everybody
gonna know about that.
Yeah, everybody gonna know about that. So
My wife is gonna find out about this.
now she gonna think. Now you're teaching her something. You're giving her a reward. You know what I'm saying? For allowing for this to happen. You know what I'm saying? Which shouldn't be allowed. You know, and that's how you put value in a woman.
God.
You know, you don't put value in a woman by looks, because I mean, this woman was fair, but that wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying?
God, damn right.
King. Come on, man.
Right, damn right. Let's get verse 18.
Verse 18. Likewise, shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
Right. So now all of the women are gonna be like, yeah, I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't have to listen to my husband. And it was heavy that you brought out the king's, because the king's servants came to him like, hey man, listen, you gotta check this woman, you gotta do something, you gotta kill this bitch. Excuse me for my language, but because if you don't, my wife is gonna be like, you telling me you're a servant to the king, and the king's wife gets to disobey him, and I don't get to disobey you, and you're a servant to the king? Like, goddamn. And so they're like, you gotta kill this woman. So like,
they gonna say, let's serve her.
Yeah, like, right. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, hey man, them cats was smart. I ain't gonna lie, them cats was smart. They said, hey man, listen, you gotta kill this woman.
I did it in the bud right now.
Yeah, nip this in the bud, because goddamn, if you do not kill this woman, my wife is gonna beat me up. She's never gonna do anything I say. She's gonna kill me in my sleep. Damn near. But let's keep going.
Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it is not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus. Let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
That is what?
That is better than she.
Listen, this is what they did. They said, listen, let it be a commandment, a royal law, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus. Meaning, she cannot come before. She's not the wife anymore. And let the king give her royal estate, meaning the estate, the queenship that this woman carried, give it to somebody that is better than her. We're gonna find out that the only woman out of many women that the king could have chosen, the only woman that was better than this prior queen was an Israelite woman by the name of Esther. Okay. I want to skip down just a little bit. Well, let's keep going. We can keep going from here.
Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. All the wives shall give to their husband's honor, both to great and small. And the saying pleased the king and the princes. The king did according to the word of Memucan.
Yeah, so now what's going to happen here? We're going to skip to the next chapter, right? Chapter 2 and verse 5. And what we're going to, so basically what happens between this period of time is that there comes a time when the king's chamberlain and the king's servants go and gather women together. They gather women for the king to choose from, because obviously this woman was not it. This woman was about to mess up everybody's life with her disobedience. So now he had to find somebody that was better, and because that's the case, most high praise. A couple of brothers receiving their Hebrew names. What was I saying? And so now we're about to go into the story of Mordecai and Esther. So we can get some backstory before we move forward in this story. All right, so verse 5.
The book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 5. Now in Shushan, the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai.
Mordecai, this was a strong brother, man. Strong brother. Maradakia in the Hebrew. That's his name is Maradakia. Right? Keep going.
Akan, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite.
There's a Benjamite brother. Shout out to Benjamin. Shout out to Officer Apayat. Shout out to Benjamin, man. This strong brother came out of the house of Benjamin, man. Keep going.
Verse 6. Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with King Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away.
So his lineage had went out with the Babylonian captivity under Nebuchadnezzar, under Jeconiah. If you're gonna read the 2 Kings, the 24th chapter, right, you'll read the history of where Mordecai's people were carried away into captivity. That's 2 Kings, the 24th chapter. That's gonna give you all the information you need to understand why this brother is going to start to behave the way he's behaving. This brother is a very dedicated to the Lord type of brother, right? Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter.
So now he brought up his uncle's daughter. This is his not his niece. What's your uncle's daughter? What's that?
Your cousin.
No, it's your cousin. Your uncle's daughter.
Yeah, your
it's your cousin. Yeah. So this is his cousin, right? And so basically, we'll keep reading.
Come on. For she had neither father nor mother.
She didn't have no father or mother. So this brother took her on as his own child. Keep going.
And the maid was fair and beautiful.
And this sister was beautiful. Esther was an absolutely beautiful woman. She was a Hebrew. She was an Israelite, which is so much better than the Persian broad. A lot of y'all, I'm not trying to take too much away from the side. A lot of y'all love these like you call them exotic or what do you call it? What's another thing they say? When they like for them like them women, them Arabic women.
They say like exotic.
Yeah, like exotic, and y'all love strange. That's what I say. If you black, you understand what I'm talking about. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all like that strange. That's what y'all want. Y'all want Arabs and Chinese women and that Asian persuasion and all of that garbage. That's what you want. Listen, ain't nothing going to compare ever in life until heaven and earth pass. Nothing is ever going to compare to an Israelite woman. Nothing. It's 12 tribes of those.
Right.
You understand?
Wow.
And a wise man, if he can do it, he'll get one from each tribe. So like it. or you'll just have none because they all gonna run you crazy. But they are beautiful though. So like it. You could be like Paul and just have none, maybe save your life. But they are beautiful. I'm just messing with y'all. Of course, all of our sisters are excellent sisters, especially when they're under the tutelage of the ISUPK. That's what makes it a lot better. When the sister is under the tutelage of the ISUPK and they take on this spirit of Esther, oh yeah, that's the type of woman you want to be because she's beautiful and she know how to act. God damn, it's a beautiful thing. So like you,
right?
But keep reading.
Whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Yeah, so he took when her father and mother died, he went and took her in as his own. Right? Keep going.
Verse 8. So when it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women.
So now this sister was brought unto the to be presented before the king. Remember, I told you that in between that time that we had skipped around, that there were women being brought to the king to see who would please the king enough to for him to make them his queen, right?
Okay.
And so now she's being brought. But let's see what happens. Keep going.
Verse 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. He preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women.
So listen, he loved this woman. Like the king, although this man was a heathen, it's hard not to love an Israelite woman. It's hard not to love a black woman, man. It's hard not to love a Hispanic woman. Listen, our women are the most desired on the face of this planet because of their beauty and because of their natural ability to be submissive. That's a natural thing. It has to be beaten out of a woman. It has to be shaken loose out of a woman for her or for a Black and Hispanic woman to be submissive. Meaning they like a lot of these Issachar sisters. Them sisters is naturally obedient. You know what I'm saying? And not in like a slave mentality type of way, but they naturally want to please their husband. It starts off as a child. They naturally want to please their parents. They want to clean around the house and things like that. Like that's a natural thing. The so-called black woman, she's the same way. When she comes up, she naturally wants to help. But what happens is it gets beaten out of her. That submission and that obedience that she naturally has, it gets beaten out of her by way of terrible experiences. You know what I'm saying? Right. And by their mother and by their father and things like that. But naturally, Black women and Hispanic women, Native American women are absolutely desirable for the looks and for their obedience. And this king Ahasuerus, he saw that. He saw that there was some, because remember, he just got rid of his other woman because of her. She was pretty. She's pretty as hell.
Right.
But she didn't have the submissiveness. She wasn't obedient.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Now the cat was I ain't gonna lie, the cat was off for trying to, showcase his woman in front of everybody. That is wrong. Don't ever call your woman. Hey, fellas, look at this. I'm gonna call my woman out here. She bad as hell. Come look at her. Or the same type of nigga that'll pull out his phone and be like, hey, look at my woman. And he gonna show him a picture of their woman half naked. Don't be that type of. You're disgusting and it's gay. I'll put that straight to you. That's gay. Right. Men should never show off their woman. That's a gay thing. Right. It's gay. Why you want another woman? It's like another man to look at your woman. Especially with lustful intent. You got this woman dressed this way so other men can look at her. That's supposed to be for the bedroom, man. You get your woman dressed up nice, exactly the way you want it, right in that bedroom. That's called foreplay. Y'all young niggas know nothing about that. I'm saying young niggas like I ain't young. Salakia. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
If I can, then all y'all do be wondering why your girl slept with your best friend.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because you just showed your best friend all of the naked pictures that your woman has ever. It's spam right here. No, you good. It's just some spam. You showing this nigga you showing your best friend all of the naked pictures that you got of your woman. He know what your woman's breasts look like and everything. Yeah, man. Don't be like that. That's gay. That's gay. You want somebody to come and destroy your relationship with your woman.
That's why I never understood that song. That's I never like, it ain't no fun that the homies can't have now.
Man, it ain't no fun.
Like I'm having lots of fun over here.
That's right. Yeah, plenty of fun with my women. You know what I'm saying? But of course, that's a heathen thing. So, and that's a heathen that did it. Everything that we see heathens do in this book, we're gonna see those things that Israelites should not be doing. I'll never call nobody in talking about, yeah, man, listen, my woman is gonna come out here and she's gonna blow your mind. Don't do that. That's gay, man. Don't do that. All right. But let's keep going. So like it.
I got
where was we at?
Went into verse 10.
Verse 10. Okay, go ahead.
I got verse 10. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
Right. So this is a beautiful thing about this sister too, right? Esther didn't show her people or her kids. She didn't, because she's coming into power now. That's what it is. She's coming into power, riches. You understand? And her people are in captivity. Her people are slaves, second class, third class citizens. But she's now becoming a first class citizen. So she didn't show her people. But why? It says, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a trait. Like if you come across some sort of fortune or some sort of luck, right? You should never rub it into your people's face. You should never be like, man, look what I got. You know what I'm saying? It should never be like, you should never walk up to a group of poor people and be like, look at this brand new Mercedes Benz that I just got. That's a terrible thing. Right. And she was like, she was very smart in the sense that she didn't make it about her. You understand? She didn't make it about her. But let's keep reading. Let's go. Matter of fact, let's just skip a little bit of this. Let's get verse 17.
Okay. All right, verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women.
Above every woman. Now the king had multiple wives. He definitely had a lot of wives. That's Eastern culture. You know what I'm saying? But He loved this woman above all of the Persian women he had. He loved this woman above any other nation of women that he had. He liked this Israelite woman the most. Right? Let's keep going.
And she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins.
More than all the virgins, all of the young, marriageable women, the young women, the women that, that's the ones that brothers want to snatch up. Those ones that, they ain't really dealt with no men or nothing like that. Like, this woman hasn't been defiled. She ain't been ran through or nothing like that, nothing crazy. That's what everybody was running after, right? But this woman received, she gained, she obtained more favor than all of them women. Why? Because of her willingness to submit. And now that's not like, it's not like it's not a bad thing. A lot of people look at that like it's a bad thing, like submit is a bad word. Submitting to authority, there's nothing wrong with submitting to authority. I submit to authority. I got a brother in this room right now that is above me, that if he gives me an order, I carry it out. I don't, I'm not doing that. I don't do that. That's gay. I think that's gay. That's gay also, right?
Right.
It's gay not to, to follow orders. So yeah, being willing to submit to authority, ain't nothing wrong with that. That just means that you know order. You understand how life works. And now for a woman, I don't think there's anything sexier, nothing more beautiful than a woman to be able to understand order. Because it's such a rare thing. And this cat, King of Hazarus, he understood the same thing. He said, yeah, I like that thing. And she pretty, goddamn. That's a win-win.
If I could, it's not like the woman don't like they hear submissive thing like shut up and be quiet. It's not like the woman don't have input. You know what I mean?
Right. Right, because you're gonna find out Esther got a whole man killed. Got him, and when we get to the end of the story, we'll see. Got his 10 sons hung. By her being submissive, but also she had some inputs because her submissiveness, and her willingness to respect and obey authority. She was able to obtain so much favor in the king that now she deserved to be able to put input. I think this guy got to die. You know what I'm saying? I think this has to happen. I think this should happen, right? And that is only because she obtained her favor through her submissiveness. And now that's a win-win for a woman because she now has the power that she desires, but she also is favored by her husband. You know what I'm saying? Right. And for some women, you'll probably pull that scripture out a little bit later, and that's just some women abuse it. Some women snatch the crown off of your head and slap you in the face because they know they can because you love them so much. You understand? Esther wasn't like that though. She was a righteous Israelite. So she's gonna say something.
I was gonna add, and she wasn't, and Esther wasn't like loud. She didn't have to be loud with her, with her wishes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She didn't have to be loud. She didn't have to, talk you down, in order for her to get what she wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What she did was just use her looks and Parag's been saying, her submissive, she got rewarded because of how well she acts. You know what I'm saying? That's why, it's not about looks, it's more about how you deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And women need to understand that. Do you deserve it? Like women ask or fight the problem that why do I deserve this? Why can't I get a good man? Well, act right, dress nice, talk polite, have some respect, have some morals. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you can get a man. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know how to respect, if you don't have morals, best of all, if you don't follow Christ, you know what I'm saying? You won't get a righteous man. You won't get the man that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, like there's things like you said, that was evident you brought that out. That whole why can't I get a man thing, like. And then most women will blame it on men. They won't go and look at themselves and say, maybe something's wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe there's something that you're doing that's not right. A lot of women won't do that.
And
go ahead.
And and really more because they think that, you know, appearance, you know, what they have, you know, is good enough. You know, I've heard it so many times on those little radio shows, like, you know, what do you bring to the table? My looks.
Right.
You know, my looks, you know,
money,
you know what I'm saying? You know, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like all these things, like,
right.
But it doesn't affect, you know, it doesn't make a change when your attitude is not the right way. You know what I'm saying?
God.
When you're not in this relationship for us, you're in this relationship for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, damn right. Let's okay, let's skip down. Okay, we read 17. You finished that or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
Middle of verse 17. So so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
Mm-hmm. Let's get on verse 21.
Verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate,
Mm-hmm.
two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on King Ahasuerus.
So now, for whatever reason, right, these two chamberlains of the king are planning on assassinating the king, King Ahasuerus, right? And Mordecai, a Benjamite brother, he's in the king's gate, and he just so happens to hear this. He happens to hear them plotting on killing the king, right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 22. And the king was known to Mordecai.
And the thing.
And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Mm-hmm.
And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree.
They got hung. Keep going.
And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
So Mordecai heard this thing, right? He heard that these two chamberlains was planning on, you know, assassinating the king. So what did he do? He went and told his stepdaughter, Esther, and Esther went and told the king in the name of Mordecai, meaning she went and she told the king, you know, my stepfather Mordecai, he's letting me know that this is happening. He's saving your goddamn life, right?
Huh.
And of course, the two guys was, you know, they was dealt with. They got hung on a tree. But keep going, verse 1 in chapter 3.
Chapter 3, verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the Agagite.
The Agagite. Agag is a descendant of Amalek. Amalek is a descendant of Esau. So who is this? This is a white man. Haman is a white man, specifically out of the lineage of Amalek, which makes him the people that call themselves Jews today, right, in the land of Israel, the Jewish man. That's this guy. That's the type of guy that we're dealing with, and we're gonna find out that this guy was an enemy of Israel, a 100% cold, stone-blooded enemy to Israel. Keep going.
And advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him.
Yeah, so everybody, you know, the king commanded that everybody got to bow to Haman. He had a high seat and authority. Keep going.
But Mordecai bowed not,
mm-hmm.
nor did him reverence.
Yeah, he didn't listen. Mordecai was like, I'm not about to. First of all, everybody understood that the seed of Amalek and the seed of Esau was an enemy to Israel. That was already understood. Mordecai was like, I'm not bowing to this cat. And that was such a one West thing to do. I'm not bowing to this cat that is my enemy. If anything, he's gonna have to bow to me. There's no way that I'm gonna bow to him. And Mordecai understood that, right? Just skip down to verse 4.
Okay, verse 4. Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew.
He told them what?
That he was a Jew.
Now that's extremely important, because also, as we knew that our enemy was the Edomites and was the Amalekites, well, they also knew that we were enemies of each other as well. Like the Amalekites, the Edomites, the Agagites, all of the descendants of Esau, they knew that they were enemies of us also. Because you got to think about this story. The story goes, this is a story that everybody understood, that we even wrestled in the womb. You understand? So we were born to be enemies, bred to be enemies. So both sides understood that the other was the enemy. You understand? So Esau knew that Jacob was the enemy, and Jacob knew that Esau was the enemy. And we can see that. And so the reason why it was so important that they told him that it was a Jew, that Mordecai was a Jew, and Mordecai wouldn't bow. Oh, yeah, Haman didn't like that. Let's keep reading.
Verse 5. When Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. Mm-hmm. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. Mm-hmm. For they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Hyrus, even the people of Mordecai.
So not only did he want to just kill Mordecai, he wanted to kill every Jew. This is what you got to understand about Haman. Haman was just looking for a reason to kill niggas. That's it. Now think about it. Now you got to really look at this story, right? He wanted a reason, a good enough reason that he could bring it to the king's attention to kill niggas. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to kill black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He wanted to kill the children of Israel. And all it took was for one brother to say, I'm not bowing to him. Good enough. That was what Haman was saying. Good enough. Good enough. I'm going to take this to the king, and I'm going to get a petition. I'm going to petition that all Jews get killed. All black people. All black people got to die because this one black man didn't bow. Now, doesn't that sound like a lot like our oppressor today?
So we look like it, and if you look at the story of Nat Turner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He when he rebelled, you know what I'm saying, they didn't just stop and just kill him. They was like, all right, well, all these niggas gotta go over here.
Right.
They went on a hanging spree. They was eating. Listen, it was just like if you ain't heard the story of Nat Turner, sometimes I'm like going into it. I tell my sons about it.
Yeah.
Like these people were like they were eating. They end up eating Nat Turner and using his skin for clothing and things like that. You know, and all because he read the Bible and he saw that, these people are my enemy. These are shots to fight against. The same way where Mordecai knew that Haman is my enemy. I'm not bowing to him. And he was like, well, you know what? Since the king said, no, you're supposed to bow to me and show me reverence.
Right.
You're not going to do it? Fine. Or you can die.
Or you can die. That's such an Edomite mindset, man. And we've adopted that. What do we do when one of our brothers transgress against us in the world? When our brothers transgress against us in the world, oh, it's not you that got to die. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your grandma, your grandmother. It's like your mother, your daughter, everybody that's associated with you. But that's not in our nature naturally. Naturally, we are not that type of people, but our oppressor is, and they've instilled that in us. They've instilled in us the type of mind. It's a murderous rampage of a mindset, but that's not normal. You get what I'm saying? And that's exactly what Haman had. Haman had that mindset that, all right, no sweat. You don't want to bow to me, I'm gonna kill you and everybody that's associated with you, your entire family. So give me verse 13, right? So basically, what ended up happening is Haman petitioned with the king and said, look, these guys got to go. We got to kill all of the Jews, right? We might actually have to read that just to get the, hold on. Okay. Yeah, because I was going to actually skip down, but you know what? Give me verse 8.
Come. Verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's law. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
Right. So he's saying, listen, man. He was saying basically, and of course, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about what he just said. It was about the fact that there was one man that didn't bow himself to them, or it's like it's to Haman, right? That was what it was really about. But of course, him being a beast, right, and subtle like the serpent in the garden, he's making it seem like, oh yeah, these people they're bad for the entire nation. They're bad for your entire kingdom, right? But in all reality, no, Mordecai was just bad for Haman because he didn't bow to him, and now all these people got to die.
That's how the servant lives, low down and dirty. That's how he plays too. He's gonna do something wicked just because of his pride. The pride of thine heart. You know what I'm saying? It's a lie.
Yeah, no, damn right. So he said, there's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people and in all the provinces of thy kingdom. He's trying to persuade the king, and their laws are diverse from all people. They got different laws. They don't keep the same laws that the Persians and the Medes keep, right? Neither keep they the king's laws. They don't even keep the king's laws. They wouldn't even do what you told them to do. Therefore, it's not for the king's prophet to suffer them. Meaning, he's saying you shouldn't suffer these people. You should just kill them. You should kill them all. Just get rid of them, because them being alive even in your kingdom is too much. That's what he's saying. Verse 9.
Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
He said, if it please the king. Look at him with that, acting like a goddamn woman. Acting like that. Listen, Esther, we're gonna see Esther's gonna say the same thing, right? Acting like a damn woman if it so please the king, right? Trying to get on his good side, trying to butter him up. You know what I'm saying? If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. Meaning, listen, after I just told these people, they really don't want to serve you. They don't want to be subservient to you. So, maybe we should maybe we should get rid of them. I don't know. That's a thought. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. Keep going.
And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
Man, read that again. That's how much hatred that this cat had for us. Read that again.
Come on. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver.
Okay, I want you to understand something. If we look at today, a talent of silver is, I got it on my notes. 1 talent of silver is 33 kilograms of silver. 33 kilograms. Today, 1 talent of silver would be $18,620.25. That's 1 talent. How many talents did he say he's going to pay?
10,000.
10,000. 10,000 talents of silver would be worth $186 million in today's money. This cat was willing to put hundreds of millions of dollars on our head. That's a bounty. He was willing to do that out of the hatred that he had for us, because we wouldn't so much as bow to him. $186 million. That's wild. But he was willing to do that. Haman was really, really willing to do that to get us all killed.
The amount of hatred you got to have for people to put your own money up, to put that much of your own money up like that. Like I'm sorry, if I had that kind of money, I'm not paying that much to kill off people. And look, I got problems with you. I'm gonna deal with you.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not about to put all my money up so I can. That doesn't make no goddamn sense, man. But it does if you're a devil. If you're a devil, then of course you're gonna do everything in your power to be a devil. The devil can only do what devils do, which is kill, steal, and destroy. That's what Christ himself said. The devil only come to kill, steal, and destroy. And we see one nation of people on the face of this planet that's done all 3 of those things consistently. And then we see one, the embodiment of Haman was a goddamn devil, if I could ever call one. That was a devil. But we're gonna read about him. So now they put out letters, right? They put out letters to all of the provinces of the king's land to kill all of, to kill all of the black people, all of the Native American people, all of the Mexicans, all of the Hondurans, all of the El Salvadorians, all of the Puerto Ricans, all of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the children of Israel. There was a decree in all of those lands to kill them. Verse 13.
Verse 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews.
All Jews. All of these Israelites that was here. It was an order kill them all. What does this remind you of? You know, this has happened so many times in Black and Hispanic history. It's Black History Month. We might as well talk about it. If you go back into the book of Exodus, what happened? All of the male children had to be killed. That was the decree. The Pharaoh, which is the king of Egypt, put out a decree: kill all of the male children. Kill them all, because they didn't want the. Because if you kill all of the male children, it's nothing but the women or the girls. And what happens with the girls? If it's nothing but women left, that nation is destroyed, because now the nation will be whatever man they have sex with and whoever they procreate with. Which, you know, of course, would be Egyptians. So now you're going to wipe out an entire nation of people. What happens in America? Same thing. Same thing that happened here is the same thing that happened in Egypt, and the same thing that's happening here. The eugenics program, abortion, Planned Parenthood, you know what I'm saying? Police brutality is all to kill Black people. It's all to kill us. Putting Mexicans in cages and letting them... Listen, I read a story. I'm going to actually bring it out a little bit later. I read a story about what was going on in them cages. And they're absolutely trying to kill the Mexicans off. They're trying to kill them. They're trying to get rid of them completely.
And we talking about Black History Month, you know, you have to just look just to earlier this month, a couple of days into so-called Black History Month, and they shoot a young Black man who was asleep on a couch.
God damn, I didn't even want to. Damn, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, on a no-knock warrant that they said that they were not going to be doing it anymore.
Right.
But they did 90 last year.
Right.
So if they're lessening, 90 is less, how many were they doing beforehand?
Right.
You know, and that's the side you have to look at too. Look into today.
He's gonna say something?
Oh, Sluggy.
Sluggy.
Nah, you good.
But you know what I'm saying? That's the point, man. That's real Black history. Black history is that our oppressors, whatever oppressor we are under. And the thing is, in ISUPK, we say the oppressor, but the thing is, you know who we're talking about. And that should be enough proof to know that is the oppressor. That is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? Because when we say oppressor, there's one nation of people that comes to your mind. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, it ain't got to be us in here. It's somebody on the street. If we say the oppressor is the devil, somebody comes up to our camp and says, "Why are you talking about white people like that?" We say nothing about white people. Right. I just said the oppressor. You said white people. So like it.
Like you know,
God.
We don't know who Karen, what the characteristics of Karen,
right?
What a Karen looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, and it's the same thing. She's an oppressor. You know what I'm saying? She oppressing you. For what? For selling water bottles without a license? You know what I'm saying? For doing, doing the most ridiculous thing. Some petty BS. You know what I'm saying? Just doing some petty BS, and that's the oppressor. You know, and that's what Haman, is. You know what I'm saying? Petty, and man, that just wants to. Show his power. You know what I'm saying? That everybody needs to bow. And not because, Mordecai didn't bow. Now what? Now we all have to bow.
Now we all got to die. That should go to show you that our oppressors should never have any power. Right. The scriptures say when the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn, and when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So we should know that, of course, Black people and Hispanic people are mourning right now. So the wicked are the people that are ruling right now. And that should go to show you that they should never have power ever.
Yeah.
Say something?
I was gonna say, like, if your mindset if I say oppressing, your mindset already says white people. Mm-hmm. Like I never said they're oppressing. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, I don't like them Asians."
Right. Or the Arabs. You know, some people say that Esau is the Arabs.
Right.
I ain't never listen. When somebody says oppressor and who is the devil on the face of this planet, I would never say the Arabs. Or the Eskimos, you know what I'm saying? I would never there's no other nation that comes to mind. There's one nation that comes to mind when I say, yeah, that's the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's the oppressor. There's one nation that comes to mind. And this man is Haman is the embodiment of oppression. Because our oppressor has no remorse, no mercy, no nothing. He is going to kill all of us because one person didn't bow. You understand it? Like, that's something that we have to really understand when it comes to our oppressor. He is a devilish beast. And that's the type of thing that he'll do. He'll make a decree to kill all black people because one black person didn't bow to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a devilish thing to do. Even us. Esau did, like Esau, the person Esau, did a lot of terrible things, but that wasn't enough for the Lord to say, you know what, he's cast off forever. Continually, Esau had to be, and now I'm talking about the nation of Esau, had to continually be terrible to black people, terrible and absolutely destructive to our communities, right, to our people and all of those things. That was enough for the Most High to say, look, he got to die and never come back. He got to be extinct. But the Lord didn't never say that about the Japhites, the people of Japheth. Matter of fact, he said that, I got to pull the script. I'll probably pull the scripture a little later. But that if you're talking about a rank system, Japheth would be above the other heathens. Because when has a Polynesian ever did anything to black people? Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So they ain't got to die like Esau got to die. So that goes to show you that the Most High is just and that there is one oppressor that's worse than the rest of them. And Esau is the absolute, he's the embodiment of oppression and just, and destruction for black people. I ain't never been mad at a goddamn, Polynesian or Aborigine of Australia. Never been mad at a goddamn Samoans, Hawaiians. Hawaiians ain't never done nothing to me. That's what the Lord said. That on the rank system, they'll be the house niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? But Esau, no, you too are. But Esau got to be on the field, man. Until they cease from existence, they're gonna serve hard bondage. They're gonna be on the field getting whipped 40 lashes because they said something. Because they said anything came out of their mouth. Because they said something, they got to get 40 lashes. They should just shut up and do my goddamn work for me. Be slaves for me because they've been so terrible.
Like I say, if I just think about all my times with a Polynesian, I ain't never had an altercation with them like I've had with the oppressor.
I don't even think I know any Polynesians. Salaki.
Right.
Salaki. I just don't think I know any. But go ahead. Salaki.
When I was in Esau's Navy, I was stationed in Washington State, and my neighbors were Samoans, and like we got along just fine. As a matter of fact, they had braided my oldest son's hair one time. Yeah, they was like, "Oh, you want me to braid his hair?" I was like, "I ain't got no money." I was like, "Don't even worry about it. I got it."
That's what they're gonna be doing in the kingdom. House niggas braid hair. You know what I'm saying? So like it. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. Like, Polynesian ain't never done nothing to nobody, man. They cool. You know what I'm saying? They still not Israel, so they still not my people. You know what I'm saying? They still gonna be slaves, but nonetheless, they haven't done anything to the magnitude of what Esau has done. Look at what Haman did. What Haman did, ain't no Polynesian ever done that. Ain't no Asians have had a very major part in our slaveries and stuff like that. So I won't say that about the Asians. They don't get no rest from me. But my point is, this is something that is so devilish that only an oppressor could do these types of things. And the thing is, I know we got to move on, right? But the reason why we think this way, why we think one of them wronged us, now we got to kill them all, that's not in our nature to do it, but it's been taught to us. Like our oppressor has taught us those things. I did a class probably a year. I probably need to do it again. I did a class probably like a year and a half ago. Maybe it wasn't that long. It wasn't that long. It was like a year ago or something like that. And it was called "Everything Is Our Oppressor's Fault." And when I mean, yes, and I made that class to prove that the reason why, like every reason, I mean, you can say black on black crime is niggas just killing niggas, and that's such a terrible thing, and it's their fault. But the reason why we kill each other is because of the circumstances that our oppressor has put us under. You get what I'm saying? The reason why brothers are getting high is because of our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why women abort babies and kick us out of the house is because of our oppressor. It's nothing that we've done ourselves. It's our oppressor who have put those circumstances on us. And so the reason why we act like Haman is because monkey see, monkey do. You know what I'm saying? I hate to use that term. That sounds ridiculous, but you are a product of your environment. And if your environment is a bunch of devils that are murderous and thieves and robbers and killers, you're going to be like that too. Why? Listen, why do you think that the Native Americans are drunks? Why? Because of the position that they've been put in by the oppressor. I say the Native Americans are drunks like they all drunks. That's not true. But I'm saying that alcoholism is a very big problem on the reservations. Why? And within the Native American community. Why? Because of our oppressor. Because they pushed that on us. We can get drunk like that. Listen, think back 500-600 years ago and 700 years ago when the Native Americans was on this land by themselves without any white influence. We weren't getting drunk like that. You know what I'm saying? They was smoking that tobacco, but what I'm saying is that the problems that we have today are caused by our oppressor, not by us. That's all I gotta say. We only reason we act like Haman is because of Haman. You know what I'm saying? So like it, but go ahead.
Because if I say like the only way you see, like I said, the black on black crime, it's like, but no, the person's favorite excuse is, well, no, the natives were killing each other, so it was okay for us to kill them too. No, but it's like I've always thought, like, well, if I'm fighting with my brother, what you got to do? What you have to do in our fight?
Yeah, that's like, I mean, if you're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it then. What about 9/11? White people kill white people all the time, so what's the big deal? What's the big deal about some Arabs coming and crashing some planes into y'all Twin Towers and killing thousands of people?
Right.
I mean, what's the big deal? White people kill white people all the time. What about Jeffrey Dahmer and all of these, these white serial killers? What about all of them?
Right. You look at the statistics. White people rank number one in all violent
crimes. Yeah. So I mean, what's the big deal? What's the big deal if I fly a couple of planes into y'all buildings? That's the same logic. Now that's stupid though. That's dumb. Right. That's dumb logic. That doesn't mean that you could just go kill people because they kill each other. So don't come to us with the black on black crime is enough of a reason for you to come and kill us because we killing each other. That's an internal conflict. So like we might need a whole United Nations on that. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean that y'all get to just come and kill us, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep moving though. Unless y'all have something to say. Y'all have something to say? All right. Let's get chapter 4 and verse 3.
Book of Esther, chapter 4 and verse 3. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
So now the brothers, like, listen, the Israelites understood that they were under attack. They were under attack, and in every province that they were under King Ahasuerus, under the Medo-Persian Empire, they were under attack, and they were subject to being killed, to being murdered, right? And so, of course, they were sad, and they were mourning, and they were scared. Keep reading.
Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her.
So Esther was a queen. She was a queen. Although she was an Israelite, she was a queen because she married a heathen ruler, a heathen king. And so she had servants and chamberlains, and they came and told her the mourning and the terrible things that was happening to these brothers and these sisters, right? Go ahead.
Then was the queen exceedingly grieved.
She was what?
Exceedingly grieved.
She was exceedingly grieved. Meaning this sister right here gave a damn about her people. She didn't do the whole "it's not my problem" thing. Because listen, she could have. Could she not have been like, well, I understand. I'm in a goddamn palace with gold and pearls. I don't need to. It's not my problem. She could have been like that. Isn't that what so many of our people do today? Isn't that what so many Black and Hispanic leaders do today? Because they are in a high position and high authority, they don't worry about what Black people are going through. A ghetto, they don't care. They ain't seen a ghetto in 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Right. They don't care about that. But Esther was the type. And a woman, it's harder for a woman to have this type of mindset. But this sister was strong, and all Black and Hispanic sisters should have this mindset. If there's something terrible happening to any of your people, any of your brothers and sisters, then it's happening to you, and you should be grieved. That's the type of mind, and we all got to come under that mindset. It don't matter if you the goddamn queen. She was the queen. It don't matter. She was grieved for the poor brothers, for the poor sisters. We got to come into that mindset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And if I could too, and if you remember what we read before, what Haman said to Esther, you know what I'm saying? Basically he raised her up as if she was,
I mean Mordecai?
Mordecai.
Okay.
As she was his own you know what I'm saying, daughter, you know what I'm saying? And this is how you raise a daughter, you know what I'm saying?
God.
The way Mordecai raised up, you know, Esther is the way you want to raise up your, you know, your daughter, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To understand that, you know, that what she has, you know, it's nothing without the Most High, you know what I'm saying? And you being in position, or you having what you have, can be easily taken away from the Most High, you know what I'm saying? And showing so much what's that word, humbleness, you know what I mean, being so much humble, and teaching her how to love her people, you know, rather than love the wealth of what this kingdom, or of this, what this wicked kingdom can, you know, provide, you know what I'm saying? Which really can only go so far, you know what I'm saying? And the Most High.
God, no, what you said is so heavy, and it's extremely hard for a woman to be able to do that, right? Because for a woman to be able, and see, that's what I was talking to Officer Razan about this earlier. Like, people say that the ISUPK hates women. People say that, but here we are having an entire class about a righteous woman, and every year we have a feast day, a feast dedicated to this woman and her stepfather. You know what I'm saying? But we don't attack women. We just understand that we understand what women need, just like we understand what men need in order to be men, and for what women need to be in order to be women. You know what I'm saying? And this sister had what it took. This sister was not selfish. You know how hard it would be for a woman today if all of your Meg Thee Stallions and your Danny Lays and all of these sisters, right, that whore themselves out for money. This sister had the money. She didn't have to whore herself out for it or nothing like that. She had the money already. And then when something came up that was affecting her people, not her, because it didn't affect her. You know what I'm saying? It didn't affect her. No, it's all good. I've been, my shit been buzzing, yours been buzzing. It's all good. It didn't affect her, but it did because it was her people. But she had the money. She didn't need to care about that. She didn't need to care about the poor people getting murdered. She didn't have to care about that. She had the money already. So like I said, in this day and age, imagine that. Imagine a woman who has money caring about anything outside of her money. That's like damn near hard to even conceive. That's like a perceive. I conceive like I'm having children and shit. So like, right? But that's hard to even perceive, right? Because money, the love that a lot of women have for money supersedes any love that they could ever have for their people. Like, these women absolutely only care about themselves and what good something does for them. But this woman had all of the money, and she was grieved, exceedingly grieved, when she found out that her people were troubled. And I know men that wouldn't even care. I know men that wouldn't care about, the condition of their people. And we see it all the time. We go to camp and we talk about the condition of our people. And the one thing that brothers want to bring up is, well, that doesn't mean that the white man is the devil. That doesn't mean the oppressor is the devil. That just means we got to do better for ourselves. I don't give a damn what's going on with them. I'm right here. Like, that's the type of responses that we get because our people are selfish, but this sister was not. Say something?
It comes if I can, just speaking like how she had money, like, it didn't really have to affect her because she already got money. She's already in a place of power. Right. You look back at it, I remember seeing like men and women, our people, so-called black and Hispanics, men and women, talking about not feeling bad for LeBron James when somebody wrote "nigger" on his garage. Yeah. And it's like, well, he got money, so what does it matter?
Right.
LeBron James was upset about that. So because he got money, he's supposed to be like, nah, it's okay.
And that just goes to show you that it works both ways. The poor don't give a damn about the rich. The rich don't give a damn about the poor. Our people don't care about each other. That's it. That's the point. Huh. It doesn't matter if you got $1 trillion. It doesn't matter if you got $1 to your name. Our people don't give a damn about one another. And that is the reason why we are in captivity today in America. That's the reason why we kill each other. That's all of it is because we don't give a damn about each other. All of it. We don't care enough about each other. We don't care about each other's feelings. As soft as some people might think that sounds, that's important. That's what Matthew 18 is about. Matthew, the 18th chapter, is about you giving a damn about what another brother feels or what another sister feels. If you offend somebody, you should care. Care enough to fix it. Care enough to apologize and say, I apologize. I'll never do that again to you, brother. I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I made you feel like that. But we don't give a damn enough about each other. So what do? Somebody come to you with a, hey man, listen, I think I don't think you should. Nigga, shut up. That's what you said. Stop being a punk. What you gonna do about it? That's what we do to each other, man. And so we don't care. That's selfishness. But this sister Esther was absolutely selfless, and we're gonna see how much more selfless she was. Start from verse 4 again.
Book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 4. Mm-hmm. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. Mm-hmm. Then the queen was exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him. Mm-hmm. But he received it not.
Listen, man, she understood that her stepfather was going through it. Her stepfather was grieved. Mordecai was absolutely grieved. He was sad about this. And she heard about him putting sackcloth on. When you go back into the Bible, you see a lot of times when brothers and sisters was going through a hard time and was vexed by something, they would put on sackcloth. Meaning, you ever seen like potato sack?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a real ugly, ripped up clothes like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the comfort of regular clothes, they didn't want that. They wanted to mourn. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what Mordecai was going through. Well, Esther heard of it, and she was, of course, upset about it as well. But she sent him some nice clothes, nice shirts, pants, or whatever the case, right? And he didn't receive it. He didn't want that. He didn't want to be appeased. And that's what black people are like. Our people are we're too satisfied with a Band-Aid. You know what I'm saying? We got a big gash on our arm that a Band-Aid could never fix, but maybe it feels a little bit better. Maybe it feels a little bit better to have a Band-Aid on it. But the gash is still there.
Right.
We can't be we can't be satisfied with that type of temporary fix. And so that's the same thing Mordecai was on. He was like, listen, I don't want to wear nice clothes. I'm mourning right now for my people. I'm going to stay in this sackcloth. So he denied it because he understood the condition of his people was bigger than anything that any raiment, any clothing could do for him, right? Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. I might want to skip up just a little bit. So there's this guy. Salaki, not this guy, Salaki. Damn, I don't know if we should. For time's sake. Yeah, for time's sake, let's read on down to 10. So let's get to 10.
Come on. Verse 5.
No, I'm saying Salaki.
Skip to 10.
Skip to 10, Salaki. That's my fault.
Verse 10. Again, Esther.
Nah, damn, Salaki. Okay, let's just keep reading at 5. Salaki.
You're fine. Come on.
That's my fault, Salaki. Bad judgment call. But we gotta read this. Like I can't skip through this. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 5. Then Esther, for Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hatak went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. Also, he gave him the copy of the writings of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him for her people.
Right. So I'm gonna read that last verse again. Verse 8 says, and he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther. So now Mordecai gives a copy of that writing to Hatak, and Hatak is going to take it to Esther, right? To show her exactly what the magnitude of the situation, right? And it says, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him and to make requests before him for her people. So Mordecai was basically through a middleman telling his stepdaughter, you need to go and you need to plead to this king that he reverses this order that he put out to kill your brothers and sisters. That's what he's doing, right? Keep going.
Verse 9. And Hatak came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hatak, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whatsoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of him to put him to death.
Put him to death. You cannot come into the inner court of the king without the king's permission. If you do it, you're going to be put to death. You're going to die. That's the sentence for that. That was unlawful. It was against the law. That was, listen, man, that's like committing murder in Esau's kingdom. In America, that's like committing murder. You commit a heinous murder, you get put to death. You go on the electric chair or something like that, firing squad. Well, listen, it was that serious to come into the king's inner court without being invited or without getting permission from the king. She understands that she's saying this, right? This is Esther talking, right? Go ahead.
Con. Except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live.
The only way you can get into the king's inner court is if you hold out the king's golden scepter, the staff. He had a golden staff, and he would hold out that golden staff for you to be able to come in. That looks crazy on the goddamn thing. But look, he would hold it out to you, and that meant that you can touch the tip of that staff, and now you can come into the inner court. But if he doesn't do that, you cannot come into that inner court. Because if you do, you're going to die, and it'll put you to death. That's the law. Keep going.
Con. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days.
Listen, Esther hadn't been called into the king's inner court in 30 days. I don't know what that guy was doing. This broad was bad. I don't know why he didn't call her in for the last 30 days, but whatever the case, she hadn't been called in for 30 days. So she knew that it was unlawful for her to go in, and she hadn't been called in 30 days. Wasn't expecting it no time soon, but keep going.
Con. Verse 12. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house, more than all the Jews.
So he said, so Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape the king's house more than all the Jews. Meaning, Mordecai reminded her, remember, you're a nigga just like us. You're black just like us. They're talking about killing all of the Jews, killing all of the Israelites. You're an Israelite. Don't ever forget that. That's what and he's smart for saying that, to remind her. Now, she was already, of course, she kind of had the spirit because she was already grieved. But I believe she needed that extra little push to remember, you're an Israelite too. They're trying to kill all the Israelites. There you are, an Israelite in the king's house. You think you're safe? That was heavy, right? But keep going.
Verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?
So he's saying, listen, man, if you do not do something about this, you're gonna die, I'm gonna die, and all of your immediate family, we're all gonna die. And all of the brothers and sisters that you have around you within the kingdom of Ahasuerus, they're all gonna die too. All of the brothers and sisters you've ever known, right? And that's important to be able to stay like that. Like, it was important that he said that to her. Kind of reality check, you know what I'm saying? But keep going.
Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me.
What this sister's about to say is Warm West. Go ahead.
And neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day.
She asked for all of the brothers and all of the sisters to fast for her. Keep going.
I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so I will go in unto the king, which is not according to the law.
She's going to go into that inner court where she knows that if she goes into that inner court without getting an invitation from the king, the king's law says that she's to be put to death. Keep going.
Come on. And if I perish, I perish.
Read that again.
And if I perish, I perish.
I know some brothers. I'm talking about brothers in the world. I know some men that can't even think like this, that are not willing to put it all on the line like this sister was. This sister was willing to put it all on the line for her people. She was willing to put everything. Your life is all you got, right? She was willing to put her life on the line for her people. Like, that's heavy, man. That's a sister, man. Listen, that's a bad sister, man. That's a bad sister. And like I said, I know men that are not willing to do those things. There are men that's not strong. When you go through this Bible, man, it's a beautiful thing. When you go through this Bible, you see things like this. You see the works of Esther, the works of Judith, the works of the mother of the 7 sons. Y'all know about that in the Apocrypha.
That's
Even Deborah, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of these, there's some beautiful sisters, and I mean in mind, in appearance, in everything. I mean, there's some sisters that are absolutely excellent that you read about in this Bible. I don't know why anybody says that the ISUPK hates black women. We love black women. We got all throughout this book in here. We got stories about excellent black women. We got feast days for excellent black women. We love Black and Hispanic and Native American women. So much so, Slug, if I could, just real quick. So much so that we'll never allow anything less than this right here. That's how much we love Black women and Hispanic women and Native American women. So much so that you have to be a strong Black and Hispanic woman. And so that means you're going to have to come under the authority of men that are able to teach you how to be this way. Imagine, see this type of woman. She knows if she goes to plead for the Israelites, she could be put to death because she can't go into the inner court without permission. She's gonna go anyway. And she said, if I die, I die. But you know what? You know where she laid her strength at? She laid her strength with the Most High. Because she said she asked for them brothers and sisters to pray for her and to fast. And she fasted and she prayed. So where was she really laying her strength? In the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
If I can, like, just when you really read this Bible, like, whenever I hear somebody say the Bible is misogynistic, the Bible is against women, like nowadays, I really like you have not really read this book, have you?
Right. Because
you see all these, they said strong women in this book who went above and beyond. People don't understand like how strong the women in this book actually is.
Right.
Like when you got you were saying earlier about Judith and the one king. Now he came in just wanted a drink of water.
Yeah.
She gave him some milk. He fell asleep, and then she put the nail that you have in the tent with a hammer into his skull and killed him.
Right.
She's
down. That's a down sister.
How is that not how that not a woman to be celebrated or to be talked about?
Right.
Or the woman or the mother and her 7 sons in the Maccabees.
Right.
You know, like I could tell you, like, I know my mom personally could not sit there and be like, yeah, why don't you go there and just die? My mom be like, no, I'm gonna eat that pork.
She gonna tell you know what the average woman would tell you to do? Compromise your integrity. Compromise your integrity to save your own life. And that's the problem with our people, is that all of us, men and women, want to compromise our integrity so we can have pleasure, so we can live. That's not, according to the scriptures, that's not an honorable thing. So that's why in here we teach honor. Women should have honor, men should have honor. This sister had honor. The sister that you was just talking about, you know what I'm saying? The mother of the 7 sons, she had honor. Judith had honor. Women, listen, Abigail had honor, man. You know what I'm saying? In the story of Abigail and Nabal. Like these sisters had, like Deborah had honor. There are so many sisters that are so excellent in this Bible that we can read about that women should take after. They should look at these things and say, I want to be like her.
Right.
But you know what's the problem with so many sisters is they want to take after what they've seen in the world, not what they've seen in the Bible, not what they've seen in these righteous acts that we're looking at here. They want to be like their mother, who was terrible, their auntie, who was terrible. They want to be like the women on the TV. And that's, of course, by design, because society makes women want to be like that and not like this. You gonna say something?
what I'm saying? I mean, you absolutely right. You know what you're saying. You know, Esther was, you know, she you could tell she was raised right. You know what I'm saying? You could just absolutely tell that she was raised right. And thanks be to the Lord that, you know, Mordecai, you know, was her father, you know what I'm saying? Raised up a righteous, you know, woman. And you may need to learn this too, you know what I'm saying? The way Mordecai raised her up and the type of zeal that she had for her own people, you know what I'm saying? Like that goes a long way, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not so much, you know, there's not so many, you know, females out in the world that have this spirit, right? Our people don't have this spirit. They don't have that type of zeal where it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna eat 3 days and 3 nights. You know, drink or eat 3 days, night or day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and this is for the sake of my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do this, and not only that, but go in front of a you know what I'm saying, a king with power that he could just kill you. He could just, he already gave the order to not basically took away the power of the other, the other female. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now what, who am I? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm nobody to him, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but this woman has so much, so much love for her own people, you know what I'm saying? God. So much love for her own people. And it really shows, you know what I'm saying? But that's we need to, like, brothers need to learn from Mordecai and how to raise up a daughter. And this is like the whole, blueprint on how to build up, your own family, how to have your house in order. And right. Mordecai had his house in order, you know what I'm saying? So and that and from one woman, the whole nation was saved.
God, from one woman, that's heavy, and that just goes to show you, man. And like this, like you said, these scriptures have the guidelines and it's the instruction manual on how to raise a woman, how to raise a daughter, how to raise sons, how to raise your children to raise more men and women like this. It's such a beautiful thing, and what's beautiful about it is, like, the scriptures call the woman the weaker vessel. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Bible says. The Bible says that the woman is the weaker vessel, but that doesn't mean that a woman has to be weak. You understand? Just because she's weaker than the man doesn't mean that woman has to be weak. We are in the ISUPK. We know some strong sisters in here. You understand? And this sister is proving that, a woman is supposed to be tender. She is. That's what her job is, to be a helpmeet unto her husband. You know what I'm saying? She's supposed to be tender and those types of things. But don't get it twisted. This is still a daughter of God. This is the daughter of the Most High Yahweh. And if the Most High Yahweh is a man of war, this daughter must be on the same accord with the Most High. You understand? And so this sister was the same way. This sister said, if I die, I die. And she knew there was a big possibility. But she also knew something else. She also knew that this man loved her. And she also knew that her femininity could save her out of this, along, of course, coupled with her service to God, of course, coupled with her love to her people. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I'm gonna give it to you right now. We'll see in just a couple of verses that when she comes to this king's court, the Lord was on her side, but her beauty was on her side too. Her femininity was on her side too. She played all. She did what a lot of women don't know how to do, is to use her femininity to her advantage. And so a lot of women think they got to be masculine. A lot of women think they got to be strong and and stand over, and nigga say, nah, nigga, this is what you gonna do. You no good piece of, nah, it ain't like that. Right, being aggressive like that. Nah, she ain't had to do none of that. We're gonna see. She just came batting her eyelashes at the king. You know what I'm saying? She got what she wanted. We're gonna find that out in just 2 seconds. Go ahead, Salaki.
If I can real quick, just to say, like, just to add on to, not eating or drinking, for the 3 days and nights. What our people don't want to do, because like we're so given into the pleasures of this world, we don't know how to suffer for each other. Yeah, I remember Commander General Honda, General Hyman saying that before. Like, you have to suffer for your people. This Mordecai was doing in the sackcloth and ashes.
Yeah.
It's what Esther was doing, fasting for those 3 days and nights.
Right.
Suffering. So that way she can, go into and do what needs to be done.
Right.
Our people, we don't want to suffer for each other because we rather just take into the pleasures
right.
that's given to us today.
That's real. Yeah, and that's heavy too. Like we got to be willing to suffer. Like that's it. I was just telling one of my sons about this. I think last night. Life isn't about pleasure. I think so many people are so people look at life like life is about me and what I want and pleasure and how can I be happy. So many and gifts and I look at today is I done damn near forgot if it wasn't for the damn out there. They got a whole kiosk out there for Valentine's Day. Today is the white man's Valentine's Day. Today is about being selfish because what's going to happen if a woman in the world doesn't get a gift for Valentine's Day? She don't get a teddy bear. She don't get roses and chocolates. She's going to put that man in a doghouse. That man going to have to sleep on the couch. It's going to be a big fight. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like our everything is revolved around selfishness. But in the truth, it's revolved around selflessness. What can I do for my brother? You know what I'm saying? Not what can my brother do for me. I'm not thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? What can I do for my people? You understand it? I want everybody to really understand this and hone in on this. We in ISUPK go out week in, week out, and prophesy on the streets and stand with these boots, these glorious boots that kill our feet, absolutely kill our feet, for hours at a time, yelling and screaming and prophesying. Do you think we do that because we don't love our people? You think we go out there because, just because we want to? Can you imagine that? The ISUPK would be full of, mentally retarded people because that's ridiculous. We do that. We go out and we prophesy. This class isn't for me. I don't get nothing out of this. You don't get nothing out of this. You don't get nothing out of this for being here. Nobody that comes and sits in these classes gets nothing out of being here. Right?
I had to drive 2 hours to get out.
You know what I'm saying? He had to drive 2 hours to get out. Like that's it'd be easier if you just stayed your ass at home. You know what I'm saying? But we come into the service of the Lord because we understand that it's necessary for the livelihood of our people. Right. We understand that. And so that's why we have classes 5, some of our schools 6, 7 days out of the week. That's why we go out to camp and teach. You know what I'm saying? At least once a week in almost all of our camps. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we care about our people. So that's the type of mindset that we got to get into. And that's not for me to say that we better than anybody else. All I'm saying is that's what the Lord requires of us. The Lord requires that type of service, the type of service where you put yourself last. Because I know, listen, we all understand this. Saturdays are the one, for most of us, the one day out of 2 that we get off. Out of a 7-day week, we get 2 days off. And you got to give a whole day to go out on the street and hurt your feet and yell and get, drinks thrown at you and get pistols pulled on you and knives pulled out on you and your life threatened. You got to give up a whole day for that. But we're willing to do that because we understand that it's not about us. It's about the Lord. You going to say something? So we definitely not going to be able to get through this whole chapter today. It looks like we're going to have to, for tomorrow, for the second day of Purim, we'll have to get it then. Damn. Okay. Damn. No, it ain't y'all fault. That's me. Y'all know I could have, there's a lot of things I could have done to avoid that. It's all good. We got it tomorrow. We got to get the additions to Esther also in the Apocrypha. That gives you a lot of extra added context. What we're about to read right now, the additions to Esther actually kind of fall into that because what we don't see in here is that Esther was actually praying to the Lord and kind of, I don't want to say she was vexed, but she was praying to the Lord in this whole situation. When she said, if I perish, I perish, like she was going through it and she was praying to the Most High for protection. So we're going to get that tomorrow as well. But let's read about this story, right? Let's give chapter 5 and we can start at verse 1.
Book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 1. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel.
Mm-hmm. Royal apparel, meaning she put on some, a beautiful garment. You seen these sisters at the Passover? How beautiful these sisters be looking? Well, that's what she did. She put on her royal apparel. Go ahead.
And stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house, And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house.
Mm-hmm. So she went into the inner court, which we just read about, right? We saw the punishment for that and everything, right? But keep going.
Hang on. Verse 2. And it was so when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight.
Mm-hmm.
And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand.
So now this is the beautiful thing about this, right? So she wore that royal apparel because she understood her beauty and her femininity was going to help her in the situation. Of course, like I said, alongside, the help of the Lord, right? And it says, and it was so when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. Because remember, she could have just been put to death. But because of this sister, the way this sister approached this situation, she wasn't put to death. What ended up happening is the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. Remember, I just talked to y'all about this about 5 minutes ago, that if the king would accept you, he would hold out his golden scepter, and then you would be able to touch the tip of it or the top of it, and that would allow you to, come all the way in. Read.
So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
So then he allowed her to come in when she should have been killed. And that just goes to show you how far, like you women, sometimes I don't think you understand how much power you hold. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing y'all don't understand. But this should show you, like, your natural femininity, your natural being a woman, you naturally being a woman is enough. The Lord gave you power with that and made us stupid, made men stupid enough to succumb to it. You know what I'm saying?
I will bring it up on no long time. We're gonna
Well, go ahead. We're not gonna get through all of this anyway. Go ahead.
I can see the proc.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, pull that out. Oh yeah, I know exactly where you're going. Yeah, definitely pull that out. That's a beautiful thing.
Just to give you some backdrop, this is not backdrop. Let me go and get to it. In the apocrypha, you got the book of First Esdras, right? No, I'm gonna go over to this other one, to 28. But we know that men will give anything for women.
Yeah.
Just take anything. Let's start at verse 8. Book of First Esdras, chapter 4, verse 28. And now do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Mm-hmm. Do not all regions fear to touch him? Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admiral Bardachus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking the crown from the king's head and setting it upon her own head. She also struck the king with her left hand. Yet, for all this, the king gaped inside. So it's like the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth. If she laughed upon him, he laughed also. Mm-hmm. If she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter that she might be reconciled to him again.
Right.
And that's just showing, this woman couldn't go to the king when nobody could, slap him,
right?
Take the crown, put it on her head. He just didn't like, oh baby, you so gorgeous right now,
right? Not really, because you think about a king with all of the power that a king has. A king wouldn't so much as allow somebody to look at him the wrong way. A snap of the finger, he got to get hung. But this woman that you love, because it's a woman, she can come up to you and snatch the crown off of your head, put it on herself, slap you, and laugh in your face, and you're going to laugh right along with you. That's a hell of a thing.
But then you'll do whatever you can to make her happy again.
And now if she gets upset for whatever reason, now you got to go out of your way to make this woman happy. That is the power of a woman. Like I said, I don't know if women should know this. I feel like they should just, maybe they shouldn't be tuning into this class. But point B, I'm just messing with y'all. But that's the point, man. You understand? That's really what's important to be able to understand from this situation and from Esther. She saved Israel. You think a man could have done what Esther done? Like, there's a place for everybody. There's a place for everybody. A man, what a man would have done. A man would have went and he maybe would have tried to start a war, and that's happened before. Of course, we see that with Mattathias in the book of Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? When they was oppressing the children of Israel, he said, "Damn that," and he went and started a war, and he won. Him and his sons. You know, he died, but his sons went on to fulfill, you know what I'm saying, the deeds of his father and won. But that is not this case. This case, I don't believe that would have worked. I believe that the Lord understood that only a woman could handle this situation. You know what I'm saying? Why else would, you know what I'm saying? Why else did this happen this way?
Wars have been fought over women.
Wars. Listen, that's what. And we in that same chapter that you was just reading, many have erred and died and killed for women. You know what I'm saying? Like
you said today.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like that's the important part about all of this. It's really important for us to understand. I think this might be a good place to stop. I think it might be. Well, you know what? No, it's not a good place to stop. It is a good place to stop actually, because we're gonna have to go into the rest tomorrow. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go into the rest tomorrow because I don't want to rush it. But yeah, so we in Esther the 5th chapter right now, so we'll go over the rest tomorrow. Tomorrow's the second day. I do want to read this real quick. We're gonna read this tomorrow again, but I want to read this. That's kind of gonna give it away though. I ain't gonna do that. Well, I do want to read this though, just so everybody understands the 2 days of Purim. This is Esther the 9th chapter, the 21st verse. To establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly. All right, so that is that's why we keep 2 days for the Feast of Purim. It's 2 days. So today is Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday. Those 2 days, and of course, when it's talking about the month Adar, it's not talking about February, right? The calendar that we use today is called the Gregorian calendar. It's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened that we're gonna be keeping the Feast of Purim on the 14th and 15th days of February here in America, but don't take that as like a rule. I heard some people talking about that on Facebook and on Clubhouse. Don't take that as a rule, okay? 14th and 15th day could have been on the last year was the 25th, I believe. You know what I'm saying? So it was the 25th of February last year. So don't take these numbers as just follow the ISUPK, and we'll tell you exactly what days to keep what. All right. But like I said, tomorrow we'll go over it. So the second day of Purim, which is tomorrow, we'll go over the rest of this chapter. All right.
If I can.
Yeah, you got it. You got
time. Just to put that out there, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and go IPK.com. Go like IPK has a calendar you can buy.
Right.
That shows all of our feast days on there. But none of those unholy days that the American celebrates are on there. So you want to know what feast days that IPK is holding for the year? Go buy that calendar, man.
Right. Damn right. So yeah, man. Make sure at the very bottom of the screen, like I said, you can see our class location. All Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans should be out here, man. All of our people should be involved in these classes and getting down with us, or not. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. I do know this. I say this all the time. I heard this from a general a long time ago, and I'll recite it like a goddamn parakeet. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not going to knock on your door. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not going to knock on your door and give you a pamphlet. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put a crown on nobody's head. The scriptures say, "Don't cast your pearls on the swine." I got some gems here, and not the gems that you hear in the conscious community and the blackity black communities. Oh, he dropping gems. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about eternal life, and not the type of eternal life that your Christian pastor is offering you, because that Christian pastor is offering you nothing but death and disobedience unto the Most High. I'm offering what I'm offering, and the ISUPK is offering to you is real eternal life, living waters. You gonna say something? Rivers of living water. That's what we offering to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's extremely important. That's more important than anything. Listen, every brother and sister should drop everything that they got and come into this school and learn how to get eternal life. You should learn how to do it. Because if you don't, I'm going to explain what's going to happen very briefly in about 5 seconds. If you don't come into the ISUPK and repent from all of the wicked things that you've done, there's going to be a day when there's a black man with a big white afro and red eyes. And he's going to come with a legion of angels and a bunch of flying saucers. He's going to crack the sky, and he is going to kill everybody that will not follow him. That's what's going to happen. Now, you might think I'm an idiot for thinking something like that would ever happen. But I can guarantee you it's going to happen. And you can mark my words today, right now. What is today? February 14th, 2022. You can mark my words today that that's going to happen. And if you don't get in this body, you will perish with the rest of all of these rapists and child molesters and drug abusers and drug dealers. You're going to die right along with them. And of course, us in ISUPK, we raising brothers and sisters to get on those chariots and to be on the right side of those chariots, to not be destroyed, but to get that everlasting life and that river, right, flowing with living waters. You was gonna say something?
I was gonna say, and with his voice of many waters, he's gonna say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity.
God, I can't like that. I can't even like that's Salaki. I can't even imagine that. That's a terrible thing. But if you don't care, don't care. I would advise you not to care then. If that's the case, if you don't care about Christ telling you out of his own mouth, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. No sweat. I don't want you in the ranks of the holy men in the kingdom. I don't want you here.
I never knew you.
Right. I never knew you. And if Christ never knew you, then what did that mean about me? I never knew you either. Salakia. I would just, but of course, we all understand this. We all understand. The brotherly side of me has to say this. We all understand that the Most High, in the book of Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter, I would rather that no man should die, no man should perish from their sin, but that all should return from their sin and repent and keep the law of the Most High, so that way he can receive the same salvation that the saints are going to receive.
Right.
I would rather that too. But I like to provoke y'all niggas to anger. I like it. I want y'all to be like, damn, why he saying this about me? And then I want you to do better. Because that's what had to happen to me. I remember hearing Commander General Yohana talk about me. He wasn't talking about me, but he was talking about me. You understand? Like General Muhammad was talking about me, but he wasn't talking about me. But he was talking about me. He was speaking to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because and that was what it took. I was like, you know what? I don't like what he's saying, but man, I got to get right, man. You just said something?
He was talking to a familiar spirit.
Familiar spirit, that's right.
And cast that familiar spirit out. And that man, and, now you got full zeal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
but I'll tell you this: that saved brothers' lives, man.
Oh yeah.
That's why we go out in the street and we talk the way we do, because that saves brothers' lives, man. The Holy Spirit is a real thing, right. And the Holy Spirit can come on you from us speaking the way that we speak. So, but my point is, man, listen, y'all need to come up and get in these classes, man. I know that wasn't the point of what I was trying to say, but of course, I think that has to come out at least one time during the class. We got to tell you how stupid you are not to come in here. Well, like I said, every man is his own man. You can make your own decisions. Moses put it out to y'all, what 4,000, damn near 5,000 years ago. He said this. He said, listen. He said, I called heaven and earth, heaven and the angels to record this against you today. I've set before you life and death. Choose life. But if you want to choose death, that's the option you want to choose. Choose that. Fine. You know what I'm about to choose? I'm about to choose that chili back there and that cornbread and all of that good food back there. That's what I'm about to choose. But you can only get that if you're in the ISUPK. Right. Most of y'all tonight have gotten STDs and STIs. That's what y'all got tonight. From that you get that slut a teddy bear. Just like 10 other men gave her a teddy bear today, and she had sex with all of them, and now you're her 11th man tonight, and she's gonna give you a sexually transmitted disease. That's what she's gonna do. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Don't not get your wife nothing today, because she gonna go with another man.
She gonna go and listen. If you do not get her them chocolates, boy, that's what she says. She gonna teach you like a slave. She the master and you the slave. If you don't get them chocolates, boy, she's just gonna go and get chocolates from somebody else. If you don't give her them teddy bears and them roses, Got to be a dozen of nice, beautiful roses. Listen, if you don't do that, you're sleeping on the couch while she steps out and goes and has sex with the man that will buy her those things. That's the life you live in the world. But in here, we get to feast with our brothers. That's what we get to do in here. And ISUPK, all across the entire globe right now, even if you go into the United Kingdom, down to Brazil, all across this place, in Jamaica, and of course, everywhere in the United States, we are tonight, instead of celebrating Valentine's Day and getting STDs, we're going to be with our brothers and with our sisters, and we're going to be feasting with our brothers and our sisters, and in remembrance of righteous brothers and sisters that came in times past.
Right.
Understand that? With that, we'll go ahead and close out the class. Men of Israel, Sluggy. You know what? I'm gonna actually pass class over to. I'm treating it like a Sabbath service. Goddamn, it's because he up here with me. This is my right hand man right here. I'm gonna pass class over to Priest Officer Amatazar.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Ma'ashra means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, which is the Passover, right? April 15th. I'm thinking 14th, but 15th, right? And then the 16th is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Also, if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, men of Israel, Major, we're going to do one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Major Shabbat, Major, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Brakatham.
Yedim Matah, class dismissed.
All right, Shalom, Israel.